We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
Good morning. Welcome in. It is Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Kenny White, Alex White. We're all here. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Hi, Jeff.
We got some baseball to get to right out of the gate. Kenny will have some college baseball looks as well. We have prices for the openers in Omaha tomorrow and on Saturday. The left side of the bracket goes tomorrow. The right side of the bracket goes over the weekend. And we're excited for the College World Series in Omaha, but we're excited for these games here today. Also have a reaction to Indiana taking a 2-1 lead on Oklahoma City. And of course, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Sunrise, Florida. The Panthers look to go up 3-1 on the Edmonton Oilers. But we begin in baseball. We got early games. We only got 8 in Major League Baseball, so we'll hit them right off the top. And we will begin today in New York. The Mets going for a 3-game sweep over the Washington Nationals. Mets are 15-4 in their last 19 games, and 3 of those losses came against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So high-end baseball at the moment for the Mets. It's their ace, Kodai Senga, against Mike Soroka, who, when he was with Atlanta, always pitched well against the Mets. Now, of course, post 2 major Achilles injuries, and now with Washington, not the same guy anymore. But the Mets are minus 220 at home, plus 190 on the Nats, total 8.5. Alex, I know you're looking to play this one early. No pun intended with the early start.
Yes, I like the Mets here. I just played it. First 5 run line, so minus half a run there, minus 130. I do think that the Mets will be able to get to Soroka in this game. He's coming off of the best start of the year, went 6 innings, no earned runs, just 2 hits and 1 walk against the Rangers, 7 strikeouts in that one. But, I mean, that is when Texas was struggling at the beginning of this month, and Mets are playing really good baseball right now. On the other side, you brought up Kodai Senga having a fantastic year. Definitely one of the top pitchers going today, above average. Now his xFIP in his last 3 is a little concerning, but I think he'll be able to slow down this Nats offense here. So Mets, I did it yesterday too. Run line, first 5. I'm going for it again here today.
Yeah, I like Kodai Senga. He's got really good stuff. and he's having a tremendous year. It little lucky, obviously, because the left on base numbers are gigantic. But again, only 4 home runs. My only concern is his 30 walks, where he's at 4 walks per 9 innings. But yeah, I like him. You know, and playing the streak, a 5-game winning streak, Washington going the wrong way, a 4-game losing streak, puts me in a situation where I don't like to lay a run and a half with a home team for a game. So that would be the only way to play the full game. So I will go with you first 5 innings and lay the half a run.
No, you're getting those 5 at-bats in the first 5.
Yeah.
Again, Mets right now enter today with the best record in baseball, 5 games clear of the Philadelphia Phillies in the National League East. Phillies, important series win for them as they beat the Cubs 7-2 yesterday. Phillies are off here today. We go to Colorado next. Giants have needed multi-run comebacks in both of the first 2 games, but they got them last night and the night before at Coors, looking for a 3-game sweep over the miserable Colorado Rockies, 10-7 a night ago. They face Antonio Sanzatella. We'll go back to the 10-10 in a second. We can hit this one real quick. Sorry, guys. Sanzatella has been awful, been arguably the worst starter in Major League Baseball. Plus 180 on the Rockies, total of 11, minus 200 on this one with the Giants.
I mean, I think you just got to go back with the Giants. Same thing that I just mentioned was on them yesterday. Kind of fortunate there, but they did get the win 10-7. I like Birdsong. And I mean, if you look at his numbers, last start, 5 walks to his 5 strikeouts, but it was really in that last inning. His command wasn't all there. So I think he'll be okay in this spot against this Rockies offense. And I mean, I really don't trust Sanzatella. We've been betting the other team totals over anytime they're here in Coors Field. So that could be another way that we did play it. But I think 1.5 minus 140 or go Giants team total over here.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I would could go either way there. Their team total over. Anthony Sanzatella has just been awful. He did pitch well in a relief appearance his last outing, but I still don't trust that. I would rather see him in a starter role and have 2, 3, 4 good starts in a row. It just hasn't been there for him. Birdsong's a guy that, more middle reliever with the big time fastball. He's got an explosive arm. And has had a good start to the season. So I'm with you there. I like the streak. I'll play it. I was on him yesterday, laying the 1.5. I'll do it again with the Giants.
Giants just red hot right now, 40-28, good for second in the National League West, only a half game behind LA in the best overall division in baseball. All right, the other day game, we go to Minnesota. Ober and Corbin rubber match after the offensive explosion 2 nights ago for Texas. They reverted back to what they've been most of the year. Only put up a 2 spot in the 6-2 loss to Minnesota last night. Ober's minus 50. Patrick Corbin goes for the Rangers. He's plus 135. Total of 8-day baseball. High noon in Minneapolis today.
I would like to make a case for the dog here. And I think Patrick Corbin can pitch good enough to keep the Rangers in this game. I like what we have seen from them offensively. Now, the Twins did hold them to just 2 runs yesterday, but I don't think they're going to do that in back-to-back games. On the other side, Bailey Ober, I mean, I don't know what we're going to get from him. His last start, he did give up 5 earned. He did go 7 innings pitched, but he did give up 2 in the 3rd and 2 in the 4th, and they let him keep going there against Toronto. But I think that with this Rangers offense and what we've seen from them as of late, that they will be able to get to him, and kind of making the case that Patrick Corbin is equal and can pitch just as well here today. So first 5 with the Rangers. I think South Point actually has the best number here at plus 120. I'm going to take a little shot at that here with the Rangers.
Yeah, I'm a big Ober fan. I love watching him throw, and guys that are 6'9", sometimes it takes time to grow into their body. I just see this guy getting better and better. He is 29 years old now, but he's that leverage. You can't teach height, and the leverage that he throws with is amazing. So, yeah, he had a bad game. That was the worst game. Well, he had his opening day that I bet him at St. Louis. He got knocked out in the 3rd and gave up 8 runs, and it happens. But he attacks the zone, and that's what I'm most interested in, guys that'll do that. So I really like him. I can't bet against him. I can't bet on him, though, because I do see the Rangers getting better. And yesterday you mentioned, I said I liked Arizona, and you said, what about Corbin? And all I'm thinking is I already did my overnight line, and I said, Patrick Corbin, I don't care. He's up and down, but I don't like Arizona as much anymore to win that division without Corbin Burns. But Patrick Corbin is having a decent year, pitching well. So I understand why you may like the Rangers today. I'm going to go under in this game because I kind of underrated Ober, and I think I underrated Corbin, and I still made the game 8.
I will just say I might be reaching a little bit because I was kind of comparing his home and away splits, and on your spreadsheet, I mean, Ober's home looks great, but then I was looking at who he played against, and this is where I could be reaching a little bit because it was Kansas City, Houston, White Sox, Cleveland, and the Orioles, and a lot of those teams, including Houston and the Orioles, were when they weren't really hitting at all. So kind of looking at those other lineups that we aren't huge fans of, thinking it might be a little tougher against Rangers. Again, it could be a reach here, so I don't mind your under either.
Rubber match. Again, Minnesota hanging tough. American League standings on your screen, 7 games behind Detroit, who has the best record in the AL, but more importantly, would be in the postseason as the 5th seed in the second wild card in the AL entering today. Texas still very much in play in the West. No one has run away in that division, unlike the other two. Well, Yankees are only 4 on Toronto, but we have them power rated well ahead of everyone else in that division. 5.5 right now. Look at those Angels. Angels now tied with the Mariners. That's not what the Mariners want after the Angels have just played really, really well. 7 of their last 8 to get it back to 1 under. All right, we'll go to Milwaukee next. NL Central battle. Brew Crew and the Cardinals. Cardinals just got swept at home by those Toronto Blue Jays. So St. Louis tries to get out of it with their best starting pitcher in Sonny Gray on the bump here today. Brewers lost 2 out of 3 to Atlanta in the midweek. Spencer Schwellenbach threw a complete game against them yesterday to finish off that series. Cardinals with Gray minus 35. It'll be Mr. Orosky going for the Brew Crew plus 20. This is an interesting one on the total, guys. There's a lot of 8s in the market. South Point has a 7.5 on this game.
Do you want to start? Now, I know that Mizorowski is a big prospect here for the Brewers. A lot of excitement. It clocks in at 103. So do you want to start with him and what you think we'll get from him in his first Major League debut?
Yeah, came out of junior college, so didn't really get a lot of big-time exposure playing at a higher level, but I think he was a late bloomer. Big, tall guy, another 6'7" guy that throws downhill and throws 100. Amazing stuff. A little wild, but a big-time strikeout guy. Had a really good early start of the season at AAA so far this year, but I like guys like this in their first start. It's just something that he's going to go out there, and I think he's going to throw well. But I can't back him because my numbers are so much higher in this game for St. Louis. So I don't want to bet St. Louis. I got a lot higher number on them. I'm going to pass the side, but I feel like if Mizorowski throws well, I know Sonny Gray's going to throw well. I think it could be a pitcher's duel, so I'll be under 8 here.
You can get plenty of 8s. Just, again, we tell you shop around when you can. This is 7.5 at the South Point. Circa's got the best number in the market, 8 minus 20 if you want to go under today. Cardinals, again, I just wonder with some of these teams. I thought it was going to be the case with the Giants, but they've gotten out of it. Teams that were projected to be about high 70s, low 80s win totals going into the year, getting off to these good starts. St. Louis obviously had that dreadful start and then got really hot when they became an average road team as opposed to the worst road team in the National League other than Colorado. But I just wonder with the Cardinals, we talked about the pitching being a potential issue long-term. That has started to show up a little bit. They have the right guy in the mound today, though, with Sonny Gray against the Brewers. As you see, that's the playoff picture. We still have about 100 games plus for everyone to go, or a little under 100. Cardinals right now would be on the outside looking in the NL.
Look at that money line and run line there. That's pretty incredible. Is that correct?
I'm gonna double check you there. Yeah, no, that should be a plus 25, not a minus 25.
But that feels like a minus 135 with Sonny Gray feels like, and to come in as a stopper here, it is hard to pass up. But not knowing,
I don't know, these guys, the guys in they're making their Major League debut can pitch amazing because there's so much adrenaline flowing that, and this guy's got electric stuff. It's hard to get around on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. So we'll see how he does. If he can stay in the zone, he's going to be tough to hit today. So maybe I should go under first 5 because I don't trust the Cardinals bullpen on the road. I think their bullpen on the road has been a little weak this year.
4 on that first 5.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. Just dependent on which book you get. We go to Chicago next. Cubs welcome in the Pirates. Cubs have lost 2 out of 3 in Philadelphia. Pirates took 2 out of 3 from the Marlins in the midweek. So 4 now is starting with a night game before Friday day baseball at Wrigley tomorrow. Tyone and Heaney. Jameson is a $2 favorite at home tonight with a total of 7.5, which tells me that the wind is blowing in tonight at Wrigley Field. And it's, there you go. It's a mid-60s night with the wind blowing in for Wrigley Field tonight, guys. So Cubs big favorite, Kenny.
Yeah, I made them the Cubs $1.70. So, well, I'm sorry, misread. $1.88 I have Tayon. Total was 8.5, but I'm going to take 2 runs off that total because of the weather. We'll be blowing in from left center field, basically 10 to 15 miles the entire game. And we know we've seen the struggles out of those Pirate bats. So Tayon, a former Pittsburgh Pirate, I always like that situation that guys will get up for their old team. And Andrew Heaney has pitched very, very well this year. 1.15 whip on the year. And he's been really good, especially overall numbers, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run. So yeah, I'm going to go under. I'll probably go under now. I'm going to go under in the first 5 and I'll go under for the game.
So the Cubs have already seen Andrew Heaney and did get to him pretty good, 4 2/3. Just 5 hits, but 4 earned runs off of that. 2 home runs off of him for the Cubbies. So I didn't really know what to do with this one. I like that you just took 2 runs off. I'm thinking maybe just a Pirates team total under and let the Cubs do what they do offensively, but just worry about the Pirates there.
You know, I don't worry a lot about now. The Cubs saw him April 29th, so it's been well over a month. I don't like when a team sees a guy for a 3rd time within maybe 3 or 4 weeks. That's when you can really get in and locked in on a pitcher. Since that time, when they faced him on April 29th, they faced 35 other pitchers. So tough to get locked in on a guy unless you've seen him year in and year out. Let's say you're playing somebody in the playoffs and you've seen, and it's a division rival, and you've seen Kershaw 4 or 5 times on the year. That's the big advantage.
Yeah.
So you got 25 at-bats.
And the one good thing, too, like those situations you just brought up with 3 in 3 weeks, they almost never happen now.
Yeah.
We're out of a more balanced schedule with 15 in each league. We would see those situations when the divisional teams are playing each other 19 times in the season. We also see it in the postseason, which is something you keep in your back pocket when we get to October, especially with relievers more so than starters when we get there. All right, we go to Baltimore next. The Orioles put up a big spot on the Tigers last night to even that series at 1. And now the 3rd game in that series will give us a Tariq Skubal day. Skubal's a $2 favorite on the road. Aiken looks like he's getting the ball for Baltimore. Total of 8. We know how good Skubal's been, and he's in the midst of what is just an absurdly high-level stretch. And, Kenny, we always like doing this when we talk about Tariq Skubal. The walk-to-strikeout rate this year so far for Mr. Skubal is now 105-7. 105-7. I'm not a mathematician, but it's a pretty darn good ratio there, Kenny.
And like I said before, he probably meant to walk 6 of those guys, or at least 5 of them. That was intentional.
And keep in mind, 3 of those 7 came in 1 start. So there you go. Yeah, just, go back and look at the last 11 games. He's walked 3 guys over that time, and that's 73 innings. 3 walks in his last 73 innings. And, oh, by the way, he throws close to 100, or he throws 100, so amazing command that this guy has. And I think you continue to
find ways to bet on him. In this spot on the road, it makes it a lot easier. You can lay the half in the first 5, and you can take the Tigers for the game, laying a 1.5, which could have more value because I think the Tigers have the far better bullpen between these two teams. But I have a pretty big difference in this game. I made Scooble 275 over the Orioles today. I know the Orioles are playing better, but I'm back in Tarek Scooble.
I just want to double check here. Dean Creamer, he will be the primary, right? But
Yeah.
I'm seeing on one of the apps they have somebody else, just an opener.
I'm seeing Aiken listed as the starter, which again sometimes these sites are wrong.
So
should be
Aiken.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is Aiken going to open?
That's what it looks like right now. But again, Kramer has been wildly inconsistent. We do expect to see him at some point today. If that site could be wrong.
Well, this matchup has already happened, and the Tigers won that one 7-0. And let's see what Scooble did here. He went 6 innings, pitched 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 11 strikeouts. That was his season high until he had 12 strikeouts against Texas and then hit 11 again against the Red Sox, then 13 against Cleveland. So in this case, and I've been talking about the Orioles against the lefties all year long, I can't imagine them having an advantage from already seeing Scooble. So I'm with you. I like all things on the Tigers side. That 1.5 minus 120 feels like a very good price there.
Going to Kansas City next, the Yankees put it on Chris Bubich last night. 5 runs in that second inning, and that was more than enough to get the Yankees a 6-3 win in Kansas City in the ALDS rematch from a year ago. Yankees go for the 3-game sweep today. It'll be Warren against Seth Lugo. Yanks $1.45 on the road, total of 9 in this one, Alex.
Pretty crazy. Yankees 5-0 so far against the Royals, so they are really going to try in this one. I don't trust Seth Lugo and what we've seen from him so far this year, though. I think yesterday was the spot for the Royals, and I stayed off of it just because of what we've seen from the Yankees as of late. And I mean, hitting is contagious. I don't think you want to go against them in this run that they are on. So I'm just going to pass. I mean, maybe if we want to try and make a case for the over, I don't know how the weather there is in Kansas City now, but I mean, if we think the Royals can get to Will Warner a little bit here, could potentially go over.
Actually, doesn't look too bad in KC tonight. Going to be mid-70s. A slight wind blowing right to left in the ballpark. Actually, for June 12th, that's not bad in Kansas City.
No, that's the exact same weather I have. And I'm not going to give anything for it, but I made the game 9.5. And the way both teams are swinging it right now, and both pitchers over their last 3 starts have really struggled. So Will Warren having a below average season. I like it. I like it over the 9.
I want to force it, though. I did talk you into an over yesterday that
Judge is on fire, too. 4 home runs in the last 3 games.
That Aaron Judge guy's pretty darn good, guys.
Not a bad hitter.
He's right now, Aaron Judge, who is not known as an average hitter, is hitting almost 400. It's June 12th.
Yeah.
394 for Judge. What an absurd year he is having.
I told you guys his Triple Crown number.
Too short.
Plus
Alex.
$2.
Still
No,
too.
it already dropped. I'm just.
What is it?
dropped?
What is it now?
No, it's plus 180.
That's still terrible.
Yeah.
Still
But
terrible.
in one day
I don't know. He's
keeping
put
that
up these
going.
numbers with no weather, and it's going to get warm and hot and humid in New York in July and August, and he might just go off and have 2 crazy months.
And he's doing it with limited protection around him in that lineup, too. Not again, obviously, you lose Soto. It's going to be less than it was, but it's outrageous what Aaron Judge has done. I'm not sure he's going to be the home run leader in the AL. That's really my only concern, as crazy as that may sound. But boy, 394. 394 for a guy who's not an average hitter. Crazy. What a year for Mr. Judge. All right, last one. Astros and White Sox wrap up their series in Houston. Rubber match. Astros just put it on them yesterday, 10-2. Framber's going today, which makes the Astros a big favorite, minus 250 on Valdez. Martin for the White Sox, a plus 210. Total of 7.5 for the AL West, leading in Houston Astros, Alex.
I mean, looking at Framber Valdez, his numbers are so good this year. Looking at your sheet, I mean, they are next best after Scooble. I can't find a reason not to back him here in this spot at home. And I mean, I think first 5 or run line is the way to go here with the Astros. And man, you're right. We tried to make a case for the White Sox to be able to win 2 in a row against the Astros, and they won 10-2 yesterday. So now they got their ace on the mound. White Sox against a lefty. I think all the signs are pointing to the Stros here.
Yeah, I agree. I made it pretty close to the line. Yeah, and tried to get one with the White Sox yesterday. They didn't play well, but you know what you're going to get out of Valdez. He's going to get into the 7th inning and maybe get through it. 4 hits, 1 run. White Sox aren't going to get much more than that. And Davis Martin's pitched well, though, and he's pitched decent on the road. So I think I'm going to look here. I'll jump in with you. First 5 of the Astros -0.5 a run. Going to land a price, but I think it's got some value. And then the game under 7.5.
Game or first 5? Do we trust their bullpen?
Yeah, I don't trust the White Sox bullpen a whole lot. So maybe first five would be a better bet. I don't know if there's any 4s out there.
They're 4s. They're juiced. They're juiced.
Yeah.
-20, -25 on those first 5.
I don't mind paying that, knowing that I got that push value there. So I would do that.
There you go. Let's go to college baseball. Let's go there. College World Series begins tomorrow. Kenny won't be here, so we want to at least get Kenny's opinion on these games and this final 8 that we have in Omaha. And Kenny, let's just start with the Friday action. I'll throw them both at you and see where we go from here. And again, this is the upset. Well, there have been some considerable upsets in this tournament, as we know, but this is the more upset-laden pod where you have Arizona, who unranked, got through Chapel Hill on top of getting through Eugene to get here. They'll take on Coastal Carolina, who won their Conway Regional relatively easily in the region and then went down to Auburn and really put it on the 4-seeded Tigers to get to this point. And in the other game on this bracket tomorrow, Oregon State lost their first game in a regional and then won out to get through and then defeated Florida State in 3 in the Super. And then Louisville got through number 1 seed Vanderbilt and the Nashville Regional and then defeated Miami in 3 games on their home field in Louisville. Kenny, Coastal Carolina's -250 in game 1 against Arizona with a total of 9. And Oregon State's -180 in the second game against Louisville, total of 10.
Well, Arizona has played well down the stretch, and that's a big, win to get here on the road to the NCAA World Series. Owen Kramkowski's their ace. He's a lefty. He's got good stuff. Not great stuff, but good stuff. But he's pitched against a really tough schedule in the Big 12. Cameron Fluke will go for Coastal. He's a right-hander. They could go with Jacob Morrison, who's had a way better year. Morrison's ERA is in the low 2s. Fluke's in around the mid 3s, but they're both pretty equal pitchers. They're both very good. I have Coastal slightly better offensively. I've got both starting pitchers. I got Coastal better on the starting pitching. Both have really, really good bullpens. I think Arizona plays slightly better defense. I didn't make it this high. I only made Coastal $1.40, so I'm taking Arizona. I'll take the Wildcats plus that big price. It's going to be a low-scoring game. The total's just 9, so I think I'm in the game here. 1.5,
you're getting even money, too.
Not a bad bet as well, but I do like that plus 210 with a team who I think can win. I think they have a chance to win. I really do. Kramkowski can keep him in the game. He's pitched well this year. Both of these guys have not pitched well though on the road. But this isn't really a road game; it's a neutral game. So, but on the road, both guys are horrendous this year. Amazing the difference in the stats for Fluke, and he pitches in a pitcher's park, and he completely dominated in that pitcher's park. But when he went out on the road, ERA on the road, let me give you what he did this year. I didn't put it in my notes, but was not a good year on the road for him. We'll see. This is a good pitcher's park, and it's not a road game. It won't be a hostile environment. It's just a great baseball environment. I think both guys will pitch well, but I think it's a 5-4 game, and it could go either way.
Then the other game, Kenny, any thoughts on Oregon State and Louisville?
Yeah, I am really surprised. I think they have the wrong favorite. I made Louisville $1.67. Starting pitchers here are going to be Patrick Forbes for Louisville and Dax Whitney for Oregon State. Forbes is a junior, has got a lot of experience, been in the rotation. His away numbers are terrible, though. 7.2 ERA, 1.73 whip. But he only had 4 road starts all year. All 4 road starts were ACC opponents. He didn't have any easy opponents. So he pitches in a hitter's ballpark. The ballpark for Louisville, it's 14 runs per game. It's a really great hitter's environment. And his ERA at home was 3.52. 1.16 whip. This guy's a really good pitcher. Now, Dax Whitney, who I think starts for Oregon State, he's a true freshman. He comes out of Idaho. I've tried to fade him a couple of times here, thinking that the lack of experience will get to him, but he's been pitching at home where he's been tremendous. But on the road, 8 starts on the road, an ERA of 6 and a whip of 1.6. I think the nerves could get to him. Louisville, I think, is the better offensive team. And I think they should be the favorite in the game. So I have both dogs on the first day.
And then day 2, Saturday, we'll get to the big boy matchup second, which is Arkansas and LSU, who were the 2 betting favorites going into the tournament, and they both made it through. And, of course, naturally, they're on the same side of the bracket. But game 1, UCLA, who is the 15th overall seed, gets through. They win their regional, and then they handle their business against UTSA, who upset the number 2 overall seed Texas. And they take on only the 4th number 4 seed to make it to Omaha. Since this seeding, the way they seed the tournament, they started doing this seeding in 1999. Murray's only the 4th one of the 4 seeds to ever make it to Omaha. Only one 4 seed has ever won a national championship. That was 2008 Fresno State. The only other 2 to make it there were Oral Roberts 2 years ago, and then Stony Brook in 2012. Kenny, UCLA's minus 250 in this first game with a total of 11 with the Racers and the Bruins.
The Murray State team, great story. Their head coach, Dan's Circa, former shortstop, played college baseball. He's been there 7 years now, and he has improved the program each and every year. Last year was their best record in program history at 37-20, and then this year he goes 44-15. So they know how to win baseball games. Looking at their pitching staff, it's not overwhelming. They're a much better offensive team than they are pitching wise. Their starter, Nick Shute, 4.86 ERA, 1.39 whip, but the numbers get worse on the road. So I've got him rated as a below average college pitcher. UCLA, and when you think of UCLA and over the years, great pitching, Garrett Cole out of there, Jamison Tyon out of there. There's just a lot of big arms that would come out of there. And I think this is the first time in 10 years UCLA is back to the College World Series. And the reason why is they haven't had that, dominating pitching. And I'm going to tell you right now, they still don't. They are in disarray in their pitching staff. The kid starting, Michael Barnett, he's a junior. He's got 36 career starts, so I like his experience. Really good experience, but overall ERA 4.10, 1.38 whip, and he pitches in a great pitcher's park in Jackie Robinson Stadium. On the road, Barnett, 7.21 ERA, 1.86 whip. I only made UCLA $1.60. I'm taking 210 with Murray State, and I think they're going to be in this in a fun game to watch in the daytime.
And then Allo nightcap on Saturday. And like we said, it's the 2 betting favorites to win and raise the trophy in Omaha. Arkansas is still trying to bust through and win a College World Series. LSU, of course, one of the most successful baseball programs there is, winning it 2 years ago behind Paul Skeens. But Kenny, this game individually, minus 125 on the Hogs. They have home field. Again, they'll have the last licks. Of course, this is a full neutral, as we know. Minus 125, plus 105 on LSU here at the South Point. Total of 9.5 for a heavy-duty SEC battle. Again, The Southeastern Conference set the record for most bids into the NCAA tournament in baseball, and these are the only two teams they sent. Now, I know Vanderbilt and Texas were technically ranked higher by the committee by both of these teams. Yeah. These were, to me, and then, Kenny, I don't know what your number said, but the betting numbers even told us this, that these were the two best teams the SEC had, despite what the seeding was.
Vandy and Texas are really good programs, and they're really well coached, but you're right. And LSU and Arkansas are both outstanding. It's too bad they have to play in the opening round and they don't get to be on opposite sides. And if they were on opposite sides, I would say they're playing for the national championship, these two. When I look at the starting pitchers for all of these teams, LSU is the number one starter in Cade Anderson, and Zach Root is the second best starter out of the 8 teams. And when we go to the second game, LSU is going to have the first best starter of any team, and Arkansas is going to have the second best. And if they played a third game, LSU and Arkansas have the far better pitching. Their bullpens are far better. They are the 2 best defensive teams of anyone in the tournament. They are probably the second and third best offensive teams. I have Louisville as the top offensive team in the tournament. Arkansas hits a lot of home runs too, though. They're my number 2. So they're really good explosive offense. So I made Arkansas $1.25. It's right there. It's right there. It's the only play, a game that I don't have to play on. I think they priced it right.
Just want to follow up on something now, because you said with Louisville should be favored over Oregon State in their first game. Now you just said Louisville is your highest rated offense left in the field. I think I know you know where I'm going here.
Yeah.
Look at those future numbers.
Yeah.
And the Louisville Cardinals are sitting there as the 7th of 8 teams at 25-1. Obviously, yes, I know for people screaming in the back of, oh, you could have had this at the beginning of the tournament.
Right.
Yeah, of course. They were in the region with the number 1 overall seed. They're not supposed to get out of there. They took advantage of Vanderbilt losing twice and won their region, but it's a totally different handicap now with 8 teams left and being on the weaker side of the bracket to boot, Kenny.
Yeah, I'd have to, look at their staff real quick, who they're going to run out there. They don't have great pitching. They do have a solid bullpen, but so they lost their best pitcher. Peter Michael hasn't pitched in a while. That really hurts. But Ethan Eberle's a left-hander. He'll probably be the second guy around, and then TJ Slaughter. They're starting. Oh, they've taken their closer Tucker Biven and made him a starter. So that actually has kind of boosted them up a little bit. So Biven will probably pitch game 2, and Eberle's who's been their 1 or 2 guy in the rotation most of the year will probably be the third guy. So the staff isn't bad. The offense is great. They have a shot. They do have a shot because they've got a good bullpen. The bullpen may not be as good though with Biven, their closer now as a starter, though that does weaken their back end of their bullpen. So yeah, I think they have a shot. I really do. They're a really good team. So I really feel like betting them the first day. That big plus price, kind of good with that right now. I may bet them at 25-1 though.
That's Kenny's look at the College World Series. Games start tomorrow. Coastal Carolina, Arizona's up first, and Oregon State and Louisville, the nightcap in Omaha for the College World Series. All right, we will take a break. When we get back, the trivia question will be in the bottom. We will have our full preview of Game 4 on the ice tonight. Florida looks to take a 3-1 lead over Edmonton. When we get back, Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book, over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff, Kenny, and Alex. We are moving to hockey. Game number 4 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Sunrise. Everyone's had 48 hours to stew after the Panthers' just destruction of Edmonton 2 nights ago, and then the goon fest by the Oilers in the third period. Look, Alex, we talked about this a little bit 2 days ago, and the initial reaction for me was, will the multiple days off help Edmonton get their brains back in order after, again, losing their collective minds in that third period with all those ridiculous penalties? But now that we're sitting here 2 days later, I have no confidence in Edmonton just because there's 2 things that have gone on in this series so far. The first 2 games were as good as you could have asked for. They were complete coin flips. Edmonton won the first coin flip. Florida won the second coin flip. All right, you go with that. The only game in this series that has been decisive one way or another was played in the fashion that Florida wants to play. They want to bludgeon you. They want to aggravate you. And then they want to just use their explosive offense and beat you to a pulp. And that's what Florida did in game 3. And this is a very tricky mental spot for Edmonton, where, again, I wouldn't normally be saying if this was just a classic 6-1, all right, you know what? You got your ass kicked. It happens. But the way they mentally imploded in that third period with all those penalties scare me here. I'm staying off of this game completely tonight. We've had 3 overs so far in this series. We're at 6.5 again with the under juiced. I don't know how anyone could justify betting the under at any of these games. Just the way they've been played, you would anticipate Edmonton's offense would get better, but on the road, I'm not going to expect the defense to improve off of what we've seen so far in this series. So this is a stay off. I'm not doing what I was going to do. Like I said before game 3, I thought if Edmonton lost, I was going to come back on a series price. I'm not doing that because if you made me bet this on a side today, I would take the Florida Panthers, but I'm steering clear here tonight, Alex.
Listen, Paul Maurice is a great coach. He had his team ready. He had a good game plan for game 3 going back home. And you're right, that is how they want to play. They do want to slow it down, kind of use that ice to their advantage, unlike Edmonton's. And that's what they did. They even had a good hit on Connor McDavid early on in that game. But I think that is going to get this Edmonton team fired up. I think they'll have a good game plan coming into this one. And I don't think they're going to back down easy. Remember, game 4 last year, they were down 3-0 and forced a game 7 there. So this is a good spot for them. Skinner actually has fantastic numbers in game 7s in the postseason. I like this spot. The best thing about them losing 6-1, it's still only 1 loss, right? It just all happened there. Hockey players and people in media with hockey always say that momentum doesn't carry over game to game. It's shift by shift, and that's what we saw in game 3. So I like the Oilers today. Plus 130. I think that's a good price. My number was still Panthers minus 140, so not a huge value price there, but I do like them to be able to hang around in this game. And the crazy thing, though, is it could be 3-0 Panthers if we didn't see that penalty in game 1, but it could also be 2-1 Edmonton. Like you said, 2 overtime games to kick off this series. So I think it's still very evenly matched. I want to overreact from that 6-1 final.
Jeff, I'm going to go under here. It's a road game.
There we go.
It's
we did
a road game.
I
didn't go under a game 3, and it was 4-1 going to the 4th. The last 2 goals were both power plays and all the penalties. it's an embarrassment factor tonight.
Sure.
They were embarrassed, and then they were thugs in the third, and you're kicking a sleeping dog, and Florida's not going to be happy about that. I think these two come out, and it's very physical. I just hope the referees let them play, and I think it'll be a very physical game. I think under in the first period is a good bet, and I think the Oilers will be in this. I think it's going to be a one-goal game. Like Alex said, it doesn't matter if you win by 5 or 1. It's a win, and I think with the embarrassment factor, and as again, what I said with Oklahoma City and Indiana yesterday, I bet Indiana, and I said Oklahoma City just needs to win one game out of the two to get the home court back. Well, here you go, Edmonton. They just need to win one out of the two to get home ice back. And if they do, this series is a different series at 2-2.
Look, if Edmonton wins tonight, game on. Game on again. It's a best of 3 for the Cup with Edmonton having home ice. I just hope for Edmonton's sake the 48 hours was enough. Actually, like I said on Tuesday morning, Alex, I think the more time off actually helps Edmonton get back into the correct frame of mind and get out of the goon play that they. Yeah. That's what it was. It was goonish what they did in the third period, and they're too good of a hockey team to be doing that stuff. And they're in the Stanley Cup final for the second straight year. Come on now.
Yeah.
And boy, and the other factor too, and Alex, we talked about this all Stanley Cup playoffs with Skinner, just how does he bounce back from the bad games? He bounced back splendidly from the horrible third period against Dallas in the Western Conference Finals and was awesome the rest of the way. Now, can he bounce back after, again, he's not played his best in this series. Now, this has been a high-scoring series across the board. We knew that coming in. It was probably going to be the case. Bobrovsky has been the better goaltender, but we'll see how it all plays out today. By the way, Sam Bennett is your current betting favorite to win the Conn Smythe. Eddie O brought up Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Bennett when he was with us last week as potential down-the-board shots. The guy who's moved way up in this series is Brad Marchand, who is not even a thought going into the series, is now all the way down to 8-1 in the third favorite. Only Connor McDavid and Bennett shorter right now in the Conn Smythe odds. That if Florida wins a short series, which again, I still, even if Edmonton loses tonight, I like Edmonton to win game 5 at home and then force this back to Sunrise for game 6. I'm very curious to see where this Conn Smythe thing goes. If this thing extends out, if Edmonton wins, I think it's safe to say Connor McDavid is winning the Conn Smythe for the second consecutive year. If Florida wins a 7-game series, there's still I think you can make an argument all the way down to everyone to Chuck still at this point, because there's still a ton of hockey to be played, even though Sam Bennett is the correct favorite at the current moment.
I agree. And Marchand right there is the second favorite. So I could definitely make a case for taking that, 8-1?
8-1, yep.
On him. He's been such a difference maker for them. And it is crazy because we haven't seen that much from Tkachuk, but I don't know if he's 100% healthy. So I wouldn't want to make that bet on him. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's great value with McDavid right there. What is the Oilers to win the series? 2-1? But then you could get Connor McDavid plus 270. That might be the way to play that.
Yeah, I really see, again, Draisaitl's the only other Oiler that I think there's a path at this point to win the Conn Smythe. I'd be with you if you like Edmonton, and who knows, maybe you have the out of the second consecutive year with a losing player, but I have a hard time seeing that happening in the voting for a second consecutive year.
It's got to be a McDavid and a Draisaitl game tonight for sure.
100%.
So.
Oh, yeah.
And
the Stars have to step up.
That was game 1, wasn't it? I mean, Draisaitl with the winner and the opener in game 1, and McDavid set them both up. So, and definitely you got to lean on your take the old cliche. You lean on your stars in big games, and so you would anticipate that to be the case for Edmonton tonight. All right, before we take a break and go to the whiteboards here and go a little early here today, I want to go back to last night real quick because we all expected Indiana to have a 2-1 series lead through 3 games, right, guys? The Pacers, behind what was really, again, we don't think defense for this Indiana team at all. By the way, Kenny, your first quarter total pushed right on the number. So good.
Second quarter was the quarter.
That's what I was
expecting in the first.
But Indiana behind their defense last night, forcing Oklahoma City into 17 turnovers and 9 of them in the fourth quarter. gets it done at home. They take a 2-1 lead in the series with a 9-point win. It was a balanced attack. By the way, if you had Benedict Mathurin last night to be the game's highest scorer at 200-1, you had a pretty darn good night. And I want to see a proof of a ticket if you happen to have that. Anyone out there that may have had that. But Alex, Kenny, this thing I feel pretty good about going the distance here. We talked about this yesterday, and this series is lining up like the Denver series did for Oklahoma City, where they blew game 1 in idiotic fashion. They go on the road, the first road game, they lose, and then they find a way in game 4 and then hold serve the rest of the way. I don't want to say it's I got to have it, because this Oklahoma City team is more than capable, if they lose game 4, to win game 5, 6, and 7 and win the NBA championship. But you really put yourself in big trouble against a team. Again, I know it's cliche, but the Indiana Pacers do not stop. We have seen that this postseason all year long, and it's a big portion of the reason they are in this position with a 2-1 series lead. By the way, you can still get as good as plus 190 to win this series on Indiana with a 2-1 lead, Alex.
Well, and I mean, all they kept showing last night after that game was that 80% of teams that are up 2-1 end up winning the NBA championship. And here the Pacers are, and still a huge underdog like that. I should have listened to your player power ratings, because you said the Pacers were deep and they had a lot of guys that were rated very high, and you saw it. I mean, it has been a team effort for them, even though, I mean, Halliburton, great game for him yesterday and really led that team. But overall, 2 very good, deep teams, and that's what we're seeing. So you're right. I think this is going the distance. My bet is already toast, so that's fine with me.
Yeah, I'm looking at OKC to maybe sweep the rest of them. I really think so. I knew last night was going to be emotional. OKC's just I still say they're the far better basketball team. And that game was close last night. It was 98-98, and Halliburton hits a big 3. If he misses that, it could go the other way. The score's misleading on how the game was played, I think. And you're going to get so much better effort at OKC in game 4. And if they win that, and then another blowout at home by 15, and they're up 3-2 going back to Indiana, it's going to be tough, but I think they can do it. They're going to be the favorite. They're going to be 5.5 or 6.
Oh yeah.
At Indiana in game 6 to close it out. So I think there's a good chance that it might be a good rollover parlay if you like OKC, and parlay the next 3 games.
180 is the current price of the South Point, plus 180 on OKC to win in 6. Yeah, at this point for me, Kenny, it wouldn't shock me if that happens. I'm in the camp at this rate that I think we're going either if Indy's going to win a series, they got to win in 6. Win your home games. Don't even have to win one at Oklahoma City. Actually, kind of like, if you're betting Indiana to win this series, I'd actually take the plus 550 and take a big shot here on that. I don't see them winning this championship in Oklahoma. And then for the Thunder, if they win tonight, they could absolutely win in 6. I'd rather have the 7. I think home court, Indiana's not going to lose twice on their home court. But again, the Thunder, as we talked about, power rated the best team in the league by margin this year. They were the best cover team in the last 30 years in the NBA. They're 6-point favorites tomorrow night in game 4 in Indianapolis with a total. By the way, the total's gone down 2.5 points from last night. That game did stay under by 5 points.
I wonder when the last time a road team was a 6-point favorite in the NBA Finals.
Well, we're putting Sean on that. Sean will do the research for us on that. But probably going back to Golden State, right? The dominant Golden State teams.
Yeah, with
Durant and Curry. The one 2018 would be my guess.
Maybe, yeah.
Something in that pocket.
You just don't see that.
I know we're getting out of here on time, but I do just have one question, because I've heard a lot of people, including all of our friends, Sammy P., but keep talking about Rick Carlisle and him being the factor here and such a good coach. And I mean, had a very good plan yesterday. So does that go into the handicap at all? Or are you still like OKC?
Yeah, these guys are all, I mean, both coaches are good. They're going to make adjustments. And Carlisle is a good coach. I've always liked him because of his defense. And that's, I said, people talked about this Pacers team spreading the court on offense and defense. And how do you do it on defense? But they force you to a little bit. And they as I said, I was backing them all the way to get to the finals, but now I just think OKC's the better team. And I think there's a good chance they can sweep. They're going to be 6 in this one, 11.5 in the next one, and 6 in game 6. So we'll see if they can pull this together. SGA, I'm sure he has a big game 4.
Game 4 tomorrow. Alex and I's official plays will come on the show tomorrow. I think Kenny's going to have something on his whiteboard that's coming in a few moments. We'll take our last break when we get back. Whiteboards, trivia question answer, and a bon voyage for Thursday on Sports by the Book.
Football contest sign-up season is here, and you don't want to miss out on the action. With millions of dollars on the line each and every week in the world's biggest football contest, there's only one proxy to trust, footballcontest.com. Maddie and Tony have set the gold standard for football contest proxy services with 20 years of experience and over 13 million in winnings for their clients. All you have to do is get to Vegas between now and the start of football season to sign up in person, and they do the rest, making sure your picks are entered every week. Whether you want to play in the Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, Super Contest Gold, or the new Super Contest College Contest, Maddie and Tony have you covered. Their new website has everything you need to know about these football contests and more, including how you can reserve the best proxy in the business. Experience matters, so go with the pros at footballcontest.com, the gold standard proxy service.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
We're back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Kenny White, Alex White. Whiteboards are getting finalized in the next few moments, but while the whiteboards are getting finalized, the trivia question, and guys, we just have to remind everyone, read the trivia question in full when you attempt to answer it. Which 2 teams each won their first NBA titles on this date, and both of these teams defeated the Miami Heat in their respective series? Yes, we are aware this is also the date that the Bulls won their first title, but the Bulls beat the Los Angeles Lakers in their first NBA title run. Can't beat the Heat. They're in the same conference. Heat didn't even exist also at that point, or were in the infant stage of their existence, I should say. The correct answers today were the Dallas Mavericks back in 2011. They beat the LeBron-led Miami Heat in 6. Of course, that was the first go-around for the Big Three. That was Jason Kidd and Dirk Nowitzki's only titles. And then the Denver Nuggets did it 2 years ago, the first ever title for the Joker and the Nuggets. They did it over the 8th-seeded and Jimmy Butler-led Miami Heat. And Greg Hampton's on the board with his first ever championship in Ticker Trivia. So congratulations to Greg. So Greg joins the illustrious ranks of JR and Nick and Dean Hilt of trivia winners here on the show. All right. Whiteboard time here on a Thursday morning. And we will begin today with Alex White.
Pretty chalky here for my later picks. I did have the Texas Rangers, though, for the early start. But that is another dog I hear. Let's start at the bottom here. NHL, a rare hockey bet for me in this late postseason. But Edmonton plus 133 to tie up the series. Going with baseball here, Giants minus 1.5 on the road against the Rockies. Minus 140 there. Tigers minus 1.5. Scooble on the mound minus 120. And then Astros at home with Framber Valdez. Run line first 5 minus 135.
Very nice, Alex. I'm going to give you my NBA game, as Jeff said. I won't be here. Tomorrow night's game, I like OKC. I'm going to lay the 6. I think they come out early and often in that game and can build up a good double-digit lead throughout that contest and take the crowd out of the game. NHL, I like Edmonton tonight, plus the 130. I think that embarrassment factor with the stars that they have. It'll be a physical game, and they'll both be physical. So I think Edmonton's got a good chance to hang around and win this one in Game 4. Major League Baseball, 4 games for you. Giants, day game in Colorado. Ball should carry well. Giants minus 1.5, minus 40. Detroit Tigers with Scooble in the first 5 innings, minus 0.5, minus 145. I like the Cub game under 4 runs, minus 0.25 in the first 5 innings. And then I like the Houston Astro game under 4 as well, minus 115 in the first 5 innings. College World Series, I wanted to put it on my board. I know the 2 go tomorrow, 1 go to Saturday, but I love to be transparent. And if I really like the play, I need to put it out there. Arizona plus 210, Louisville plus 160, and Murray State plus 210.
Dog in Omaha.
3-dog day.
3-dog day, yeah.
No, 2 days. 3-dog 2 day.
The only dog not making the board is LSU, which, as you said, your pricing was spot on with what the market has on LSU and Arkansas. All right, that's what we got for you. Gone Racing's coming up early today. That's why we're out of here on time. 11:30 start for Jeff Motley and Brendan Gone, getting you ready for the weekend in NASCAR. Kenny, enjoy your weekend. Alex, you and I are back tomorrow. Chris Andrews and Vegas Maddie will join the show tomorrow morning right here on Sports by the Book at 10 a.m. on the YouTube page. Ryan, Sean, Drew Dog, Vince, and thank you all, and Jerry as well. We'll see you again tomorrow. It's been Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.